Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. It is great to see you all on this Autism Action Day. I'm News 10 ABC's Christina Arangio. This is always a special day of advocacy, and it's been happening for 12 years now as we work to improve the lives of people with autism and other special needs right here in the state of New York. We're here to use our voices to help those with differing abilities reach their full potential. But that is not possible without the right supports and effective laws to help meet their goals. And that's what this day is all about. Oftentimes, people with autism and various developmental disabilities may struggle a little bit to articulate their needs, or perhaps they can't articulate their needs to the fullest extent. But we know how capable they are, how successful they can become when given the right opportunities. And there's no doubt in my mind that inclusion is the way forward to help them achieve their best quality of life. I'd like to thank Assemblyman Santa Barbara for inviting me again as MC. I am in awe of your tireless advocacy, Assemblyman, on behalf of those with autism and other special needs. Through the legislation that he continues to sponsor and the laws that are being passed, doors of opportunity are opening for people with special needs. There's been real change, but as the Assemblyman knows, there's a lot more to do. Each year I look forward to seeing what new potential laws are on the horizon as part of Autism Action New York, and this year there's a lot. There's proposed legislation to expand state employment opportunities for people with disabilities. There are efforts to improve housing options for those with disabilities to promote greater independence. And there are calls once again to bolster funding to empower students with disabilities to pursue higher education. It is possible, and to provide the crucial accommodations they need in college. That's just a sampling of the latest goals that you can find in your booklet. Check that out. Just as this cause is close to the Assemblyman's heart because of his son, Michael, my son Luke has Down syndrome, and he'll be 15 in June, and Luke will be finishing up the 8th grade, fully integrated with his typical peers and headed for high school next year. But I'm reminded more than ever just how much more needs to be done to help children with special needs here in the state of New York to be included in mainstream education with their peers whenever possible. As we work on Luke's plan for next year for high school, it has been admittedly exhausting advocating for him to remain fully included, even though it is the only school environment Luke has ever known, and he has continued to make academic progress. It takes strong advocacy to make sure Luke receives the modifications that he needs to be educated in the least restrictive environment. Right now, there are many barriers to inclusion in the classrooms. It can be daunting for parents. That said, I'm grateful to Luke's school team for continuing to work with us. It shouldn't be this challenging for families, and it's something that I intend to talk to Assemblyman Santa Barbara more about. New laws are needed to change things. Luke is the only child with Down syndrome in his middle school in fully integrated classes. I know there could be greater inclusion, but it takes that continued advocacy, not just with schooling, but at every stage of life. That's why it's so important to bring together the resource organizations, the self-advocates who are here, family members, along with lawmakers, all working toward one goal: to help those with autism and various special needs here in New York lead their best lives possible. That's what we all want for them. Autism Action New York makes a difference, and it will lead to less isolation, fewer self-contained settings, more critical job opportunities, and overall, just a better life for people with autism and various developmental disabilities. So without further delay, it is my pleasure to introduce a champion for people with autism and other special needs, Assemblyman Angelo Santa Barbara.
Christina, thank you. Let's give Christina another round of applause. She's been doing this for as long as we've been doing this. So I think this is our 12th year, actually. But welcome to this year's Autism Action Day. As you heard, it's always nice to hear the personal stories. They're really touching, and it shows the passion. Christina shares my passion for advocating for people with disabilities, and I share my story on this day. That after high school, I joined the Army. I came back. I wanted to be a civil engineer. I went to school, and I was able to get my degree and work in the field for many, many years. But when my son was born, my son Michael, which some of you know, I talk about him all the time. I'm sorry he couldn't be here today. He's back at his program at the Center for Discovery, but it changed my life. And I left that career of engineering, and I got into public policy, got into advocating for people with disabilities, and it led me here to the New York State Assembly. And having those experiences, talking about those experiences, it changed my life, but it also put me in a position to help people, to make a difference. I wanted to make sure people with disabilities have a voice here at the state capitol. And I'm driven by the belief that every person, regardless of ability, deserves to be celebrated and included in our community. And we've made a lot of progress over the years. In the booklet, it talks about some of the significant pieces of legislation that were passed. It talks about some of the funding we're able to secure. I know we have some things that we're looking at in this year's state budget, but this is what keeps me going. This is why I look forward to returning here every year, to having this event every year, to hear from all of you. This legislation is not about me, it's about your voices, about the challenges you've shared with all of us, bringing the resources here, bringing our organizations here together, connecting them with our legislators, and talking about what the challenges are and how we can make things better. Over the years, we have had many initiatives. Some of those initiatives have taken hold. Some of them we need to expand on. The very first bill that we passed, as a matter of fact, about 12 years ago, was the Autism Advisory Board, the New York State Autism Advisory Board, which is now set, is doing great work, advising the legislature on what the challenges are, what the research they've done, what other states are doing, and what we can do here. That was the key piece of legislation. From there, we established the Autism ID card that through OPWDD that's here today. You're going to hear from OPWDD in a little while. That card has been so useful. For me, going through TSA at the airport, being able to show that card, being able to describe what my son's disability is, that card is at no cost, available to anybody that wants it. And in the first week, if I remember, we had more than 2,000 cards issued. I don't know what the number is now, but there's still cards being issued today. The autism training for first responders was a big step. Training our law enforcement, our firefighters, making sure that training is available so that they know how to interact. They know the signs of autism. They know that people may not have people that may have unique needs. And also, Christina mentioned in this year's state budget, funding for higher education, the iPads, the smart pens, making sure there are accommodations for people with disabilities. There is funding in the state budget that I'm looking to make sure we secure to provide those resources to people that want to go on to higher education. And I have to give a shout out to SUNY Schenectady back home. I was just there yesterday. We have a pilot program going that's a new initiative that was funded in the state budget. It's an entrepreneurship program for people with disabilities, the first of its kind in our area that's up and running. I'm looking forward to visiting the students that are really excited to have that college experience. I mentioned sensory-friendly events. Who knew what sensory-friendly, we never heard about it years ago, but now we hear about it all the time. Siena Basketball, I have to give them a shout out. They do their sensory-friendly basketball game. Back home, the My Side Museum that's made the news lately, they are certified for being a sensory-friendly establishment as well. There's a number of other organizations that are embracing the idea of making sure that everyone is welcome, making sure that people have their needs met, making sure that we are being inclusive and welcoming. So this legislation, these are significant milestones, no doubt about it. But our work doesn't stop there. We have new legislation this year, a very bold package, to ensure effective treatments and therapies are covered by health insurance, to create more employment opportunities for people with disabilities. We're pushing for policies to improve statewide services, to address backlogs, out-of-home care, to create voluntary registries for our most vulnerable, to make sure that our law enforcement, similar to the Project Lifesaver program, to make sure that we are able to find people in case they wander or get lost. The funding in the state budget is critical for higher education, but also there's a bill for our IEPs. Everybody knows what IEPs are. We have to make sure that those qualify for proof of needed accommodations in a college setting. Right now, that doesn't happen. This bill is going to change that. And we're also developing plans to protect special needs children in emergency situations in our schools. As a father and as a legislator, I want to thank all of you for being here, for being a part of this day. My son, he teaches me new things every day. It's been a journey that we've been on together over the years. We have experienced many challenges, but we've overcome those challenges together. And Autism Acceptance Month serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of our collective efforts of coming together this day to create a more inclusive society. So for Autism Acceptance Month, when we leave here, don't let it end here. There's other things happening back home in your communities. Be a part of those events. People appreciate that when you acknowledge and when you acknowledge and be a part of those events. It's important to families. And let's commit ourselves to building a world where every individual, regardless of ability, feels valued, respected, and included. I have to give another shout out to my hometown of Schenectady that in recent years has lit up Schenectady City Hall with the autism colors. It's things like that that really make a difference. It's that awareness evolving into acceptance. But advocacy is not just about policies and legislation. It's about things that I just talked about, participating in community events, fostering understanding, empathy, and a sense of belonging in our community. It's about standing with those who may not have a voice for themselves, making sure that we're their voice here at the state capitol. I don't have my son here today, but he was up here last week, and it was such an honor to have him and to be able to introduce him on the floor. We did pass a resolution recognizing Autism Acceptance Month in New York State again this year, and we'll continue to do that. I do have copies of that resolution that Nicole will make available to each attendee here today. But just going back to the numbers, the latest study on the prevalence of autism, 1 in 36 are affected. So chances are, if it's not your family, it's probably somebody you know, a friend or a neighbor, someone on your street, someone in your neighborhood. That's a significant increase from the last study in 2016. More than 5 million people affected. And as I talked about, autism awareness has evolved, something that started in the 70s with the Autism Society of America, evolved into Autism Acceptance Month, which the resolution now speaks to, of including that awareness piece, making sure people know the signs, symptoms of autism, what it is, to make sure that we're providing the best opportunities possible, but also going a step further, providing that acceptance and inclusion into our communities. Autism poses unique challenges, and that's why efforts like today are important. It's important to hear from all of you. It's important that you have input in what happens here at the state capitol, and making sure our kids with disabilities are never left behind. It's our collective effort that has brought us here, and our collective effort that will bring us into the future with more legislation, more funding that can really make a difference for all those affected. So I urge each one of you to join me on this journey. When you get back in your communities, participate in autism acceptance. You can have an event yourself. You can post something on social media. Just let people know that you're a part of it and you support families affected by autism. Let's continue to spread love, acceptance, and kindness. And the first step, of course, is continuing these efforts here today. So thank you all for attending. I'm going to turn it back over to Christina. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here.
Thank you so much, Assemblyman. We talk so much about bringing people together, the direct support professionals, the families, the self-advocates, those who are affected with our state lawmakers. And we want to hear from some other state lawmakers right now. So I'd like to bring up Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther first.
Thank you for all coming here today, and this is very important. So I represent a wonderful organization. It's called the Center for Discovery, and I go there often and visit. I know Angelo and I have both visited the center, and it's really a very creative. And something that I learned, and it was funny because the other day, Angelo's son came to visit us in Albany, and Angelo and I sit side by side. And when I was sitting beside his son, the progress that he has made through education and people caring for him was absolutely remarkable. That was the first time when I spoke to him that he turned around and he looked me in the eye and he gave me a nod and he told me to stop something and he was giving me instructions. So I think that's important, that all young children and people with autism have access to that kind of care, to live in an environment where you look at this person and you know that there's great potential. You just have to pull it out. So any money that we give to, any money that we're able to give to make sure that education is there, housing is a very important. As you get older, you definitely need housing. They deserve housing. And those are the things that I know Angelo fights for. He's unbelievable, and he makes sure that all of us know that there are a lot more to do with people with autism, with the support that they need. So thank you for coming today. And even though I'm retiring at the end of the year, I know that my whole family, I'm a nurse, and I talk to Terry a lot, and who knows what my next chapter will be, and it will be working with people again. Thank you.
Assemblywoman Gunther, thank you so much for your time. And it's so important that we do talk about the progress, because these efforts are not in vain. We are making a difference through the laws that are passed and what we discuss here today. I'd like to bring up now Assemblywoman Jody Giglio.
Thank you. It is a true honor to work side by side with Assemblyman Santa Barbara. He is a strong advocate for everybody with unique abilities throughout the state. And as the ranker on people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, we are fighting, we are listening, and we know what it takes. It takes opportunities. It takes opportunities for people with unique abilities to be self-sufficient, and to be able to proceed and to live a long, healthy life. So we are dedicated to that. New York State, I know that Angelo has to get back into conference, and I know that he will be in there fighting for the funding that we need for our direct service professionals, and to make sure that our not-for-profits are fully functioning. And as the state continues to close down group homes and other things that are happening, and they're depending more and more on the not-for-profits, we need to make sure that those not-for-profits are fully funded. So, and every time Angelo brings his son to the chamber, it is so amazing to see what a happy young man he is and how self-sufficient he is, and that he is surrounded by and supported by people who love him and a state that loves him. And we need to be fully focused and dedicated on that. So I will continue to work with Assemblyman Santa Barbara, and we will continue the efforts to make sure that people with unique abilities have what they need to live a happy, healthy life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman Giglio. We appreciate you taking the time to talk today. Now to our keynote speaker, Willow Bear. Willow is the Executive Deputy Commissioner of the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities. And Willow serves in her current role with OPWDD following an interim position as Assistant Counsel to the Governor, and from her role as Deputy Commissioner and General Counsel at the New York State Office of Children and Family Services. Now, prior to working with OCFS, Willow spent 6 years at OPWDD, most recently serving as Deputy Commissioner and General Counsel. Willow initially joined the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities in 2015 as an associate counsel. She was tasked with supervising the Medicaid Fair Hearings Unit and reshaping the agency's due process, notification, and hearing procedures. In 2016, she was promoted to Deputy Counsel for Service Delivery and Program Compliance, where she was responsible for providing legal advice and oversight on all matters related to eligibility for and the provision of Medicaid and state-funded service delivery. And then she was promoted to Deputy Commissioner and General Counsel in 2018, where she worked closely with external stakeholders, as well as OPWDD and Executive Chamber leadership to advance the priorities of the office. Before her work with OPWDD, Willow served in the Office of General Counsel at the New York State Justice Center and served as county attorney for a number of years prior to that. Willow has spent much of her career working to ensure that people with developmental disabilities and their families are afforded the best service system possible to meet their wants and needs. And she continues to do that as Executive Deputy Commissioner for the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. It is my pleasure to introduce Willow Bear.
Good morning, everybody. That was quite an introduction. We'll remember to shorten that next time. So on behalf of Commissioner Carrie Neifeld and the entire Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, I'm honored to be here today to recognize Autism Acceptance Month and to celebrate Autism Action Day. I love events like this where we take a minute to stop what we're doing and to really celebrate the differences between us as New Yorkers and to think about what that means for change in the service system. I want to start off by thanking Assemblyman Santa Barbara. Your advocacy and commitment to raising awareness, understanding, and inclusion makes you an invaluable champion, not only to your constituents, but to all New Yorkers with developmental disabilities. And I'm sure makes you a wonderful father and advocate for Michael. As a family member myself of a loved one with a developmental disability, I am professionally and personally grateful for your commitment. A thank you to the rest of our partners in the legislature, those who have come in and out and those who have spoken, for your commitment to enhancing and supporting the increasing neurodiversity of New York State, your support of our shared goals to empower and improve the lives of people with developmental disabilities is essential to making those goals a reality, and we at the agency appreciate your partnership every day. I want to thank the members of the Autism Spectrum Advisory Board, chaired by our former commissioner, the incomparable Courtney Burke. Thank you to the board for your tireless efforts to provide reliable information and guidance to policymakers, people with autism, and their families. Your partnership is so important to the work that we at OPWDD do to promote inclusion and acceptance for people with autism. Lastly, but most importantly, I want to thank the advocates and self-advocates that I've talked to today and that sit around the room amongst you. Andrew and Darlene, other people with autism at home, your family members, your support staff, your loved ones that advocate alongside you. You are the reason that we do these jobs, and it is an honor to stand here today, shoulder to shoulder with you, to listen to you amplify your voices. Year after year, the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities serves an increasing number of people with autism. As our understanding of autism and of the autism community continues to evolve and grow, taking time to enhance the acceptance of and promote the inclusion of people with autism remains incredibly important and a powerful way to build on our work. Over just the last 50 years, our service system has transformed itself from a system of complete institutionalization to a system that strives always to be person-centered in every way, to put people first and meet them where they are, one that recognizes the autonomy and the dignity of people with developmental disabilities. And we still have so much to learn. We've heard that from the speakers already this morning, and we know that at the top levels. There is so much more to learn and so much more evolution to experience. Advocacy, like groups sitting around the room, and events like this one today continue to drive that progress forward. In fact, advocacy like yours is reflected throughout our agency's strategic plan, which sets forth our goals for the next 5 years. All of those goals seek to empower people to live as independently as possible and to feel personally empowered and personally fulfilled each and every day. That empowerment has been such a crucial focus for us. Last month, we celebrated Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month by shining a light on the importance of empowerment. We are especially proud of our Art of Advocacy video series, where people with disabilities express what advocacy means to them and of the kind of change that they are working toward. In our Look Beyond My Developmental Disability Anti-Stigma campaign, people with developmental disabilities told us how they choose to identify themselves as friends, as artists, as gardeners, as neighbors, encouraging people to look beyond their developmental disability and see them as a person first. Videos showcased on our website and throughout social media feature people with developmental disabilities, including those with autism, talking about what they want people to know about them and about how they live their lives. During Autism Acceptance Month, this message about empowerment is a particularly poignant one. At OPWDD, we are laser focused on finding ways to empower people every day, whether that means helping someone find meaningful employment, or living more independently, or having more accessible education, or being more engaged with neighbors and friends. Ultimately, helping people live a life on their own terms is at the very core of our mission. I am incredibly proud that Governor Hochul has dedicated New York to becoming an employment-first state. demonstrating her commitment and our commitment to making New York State a place where as many people as possible are integrated into the competitive workforce. Last fall, initiated through legislation introduced by Assemblymember Chris Burdick and Senator John Mannion, we introduced a new training program for employers called Employability, providing education and resources to assist businesses with hiring, training, and retaining employees with disabilities. I'm excited to share that we have had almost 150 businesses complete this training so far, and it has been an amazing opportunity for people with developmental disabilities and for the businesses who benefit by employing them. We also know that becoming independent is a huge area of opportunity for empowering people with developmental disabilities. That's why we're committed to providing a continuum of services to meet people where they are and to enhance their independence the way that they need. Whether it's a continuum of accessible housing supports and residential services, a continuum of employment supports, a continuum of therapies and habilitation services, a continuum of technology services, or a continuum of opportunities for everyday community engagement to meet the needs of the continuum of needs that people come to our service system with. We know not everyone looks alike and not everyone benefits from the same supports. That's what your work and your advocacy remind us of. We also recognize that in order to provide the best supports for people with developmental disabilities, our system must be more flexible. Throughout our lives, our needs evolve and our lives change. We are always looking for ways to make our system more flexible and more accessible in order to support the changes that occur throughout the course of a person's life and the way the world changes around us every day. We always strive to improve our service system and find new and better ways to empower New Yorkers. And all of you here today play a crucial role. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the critical work you do. Thank you for telling us your stories. And thank you for your help in advancing the acceptance and understanding of people with autism. You teach me something every day, and you are the reason that I do this job. So enjoy your time in the Capitol and have a productive day in Albany.
Thank you so much, Willow. It's so important that we hear from you and that we have the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities right here as part of this great day of advocacy. We all learn from each other. I want to bring up next Assemblywoman Mary Beth Walsh, who's personally affected by autism. Her adult son has autism. He is making great progress, and she'll share a little bit about that.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So as Christina said, I'm Mary Beth Walsh. I'm a local representative. I represent parts of Saratoga County, Schenectady County, and Fulton County. So I'm one of those lucky people like Angelo that get to go home at night, most nights, to get a good night's sleep and not have to deal with living in Albany during all of these crazy budget sessions and through all the craziness that we do when we're in session. But I just wanted to come to you quickly to say good morning, and I just wanted to share a quick story about my son. One of the things that I learned is that, as our keynote speaker just said, we need to try to meet our children where they are and try to find those things about them that they love or that they're excited about. You know, Angelo's spoken so often about Michael and his cooking. He loves to cook. My son Terry, who's now 31, really, as probably like a 10-year-old, really loved fire towers, and that was his thing. So we climbed Hadley Mountain together, and many times because it was pretty close by. But he decided he wanted to get the patch that you could get from the Adirondack Mountain Club if you climbed enough of the Adirondack fire towers and also the ones down in the Hudson Valley and the Catskills. So he decided he was able to get his driver's license, and I was a little nervous, but he plotted out. You know, he told me where he was going. We learned that lesson first time. Tell your mom where you're going and let me know when you get back. But he would hike sometimes with other friends or other adults who like to hike. Sometimes it was with me. And you know, it took him a year. He did all of them. And at the end, he self-published a book talking about it. And that book just came out. And I'm just so proud of him. I I was thinking about how we all want our kids to have their very best lives, and whatever that's going to look like. And I think the lesson that I learned with Terry is that the path might not always be a straight one, and it might not always be as fast as if you're going to compare to other children. Don't compare to other children. Just look at that kid. Look at what progress he's making. And I can honestly say he's living his best life right now. And we want that for all of our kids. And it's really in my heart here in the work that I'm trying to do in Albany to try to support measures, budgets that have a priority of the people that all of you support, Living Resources. In my district, I've got AIMS Services, Saratoga Bridges, Lifesong. I mean, so many wonderful local schools, preschools, Crossroads, New Meadow. I could name them all, but so many places that are just doing remarkable things to help our kids and our families. So, God bless you all. Thank you for being here today. You're here on a crazy day, and we don't know how it's going to turn out, much like having a kid with special needs. So somehow we'll roll with it and we'll get through it, right? So anyway, have a great day, and thank you for being here. Thank you. Thanks for giving me some time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman Mary Beth Walsh. So important to hear these stories of success. And as the Assemblywoman said, that's why we're here, so that more people can reach their full potential. But that's not possible if we don't have a community that is understanding of the needs of those with autism and other special needs. And so each year we recognize a particular group or an organization or a business with the New York State Autism Action Award. And Assemblyman Santa Barbara is going to tell you more about that now.
Thank you again to all of our speakers. People will be in and out throughout the day, and we'll hear from more. I do have the privilege now of recognizing the Century Club of Amsterdam, which is in attendance here today. Here, you guys can come up. Let's give them a round of applause. So this recognition is about organizations in our community that are doing things, taking action. We recognized Siena Basketball at one time. We recognized local organizations that are doing things to make sure they are being more inclusive and welcoming. And they have, I visit the Central Club quite a bit in Amsterdam. It's in my district. They embrace the mission of Autism Action Day by transcending awareness and taking steps to promote acceptance and inclusion. They're committed to supporting everyone in the community. They've created a safe space, a sensory-friendly space in their facility. This is something they went ahead and did on their own. This is what Autism Action Day is about. It's about taking action. This is central to their efforts for all their events that they have throughout the year, and they have a number of different events on the holidays. They bring our community together on so many different occasions, and it acknowledges their efforts to doing that, to setting an example, to making sure that these spaces are available. It makes all the difference in the world for families to have spaces like that. I've had to use these spaces with my son on a number of different occasions, and it's the difference between being able to attend an event and not being able to go, or having to find a space, or sometimes even go back in a car, or trying to find a space where my son can reset. But it makes a difference with these events of being welcoming and inclusive, and it speaks to what the message that we're trying to deliver here today. So with that, I'm very pleased to be able to have them here today. They made the trip up. It's a privilege to be able to present you with the 2024 Autism Action Award. Okay.
I'm president of the Century Club, Ann Haggerty. We have Vice President Misty Nichols. And Kim is house utilization, Kim Rogers. The Century Club is amazing. We are probably the best kept secret in Amsterdam. We have less than 50 people, but we always try. Our motto is unity and diversity. We're part of the General Federation of Women's Clubs, and we try very much to include everything, our diversity and unity. We try to include everything in here, in our club. What started out this autism is I have two boys in my family who are autistic, two bonus grandsons, and I love them dearly. I've seen the 20-year-old and the 10-year-old and what the development is between them, and realized that a long time ago they need a quiet spot when they come to any events. So we started that. We've always included Liberty ARC with their art show each year. So, you know, it's a big deal. It really is. But for a little group like us, thank you. We're going to continue to do more. And maybe we're going to try to get together our own little autism day at the club, where autism individuals within Fulton and Montgomery and Fulton County both come in and find out all these groups that are available. I didn't realize all the groups that are available here, and that's wonderful. So thank you again very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the honor.
Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you. Thank you.
A huge thank you to all those associated with the Century Club of Amsterdam. Inclusion is the way forward. I say that all the time, and we thank them for their commitment to fostering inclusion with special accommodations for those with autism and other special needs, making everybody feel welcome. We need more great community partners like the Century Club of Amsterdam. Before we get to some other speakers, we do have a special performance, and I'd like to call up Michelle King. She is the lead singer of the band Flame. Perhaps you've heard of Flame. They're made up of a group of very talented people with special needs who show what's possible. Where's Michelle? There she is. Come on over.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle King, the lead vocalist, guitarist of the band Flame. And I'm going to do a song for you. It's by Lady Gaga, it's a song about who's like born different. And it's a song, it's called Born This Way by Lady Gaga. Told me when I was young, we all are born superstars. She rolled my hair and put my lipstick on in the glass of a boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you go far. Listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hurt yourself and regret, just love yourself and you said I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way. Give yourself prudence and love your friends. Subway kiss rejoice your truth. In the religion of the insecure, I must be myself, respect by you. A different lovers, not a sin. Believe capital H-I-M. Hey, 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 I love my life, I love this record, and the amor for yay. I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, you're black, white, beige, or descent, you're Lebanese, you're Orient. Whether life disabilities left you outcast, bullied to teach, rejoice and love yourself today, cause baby, you were born this way. No matter gay, straight or bi, lesbian, transgender life, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to survive. No matter black, white, or beige, short or Orient made, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born to be brave. I'm beautiful in my way, cause God makes no mistake. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't hide yourself and regret, just love yourself and you said, I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way. I was born this way, hey, I was born this way, hey. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way, hey. I was born this way, hey, I was born this way, hey. On the right track, baby, I was born this way, hey. Thank you.
That is not an easy song to do. You did an amazing job. Michelle King, everybody, from the band Flame, showing what people can do. And you're on the right track. She's doing a great job. That was awesome. Love that song, too. Okay, we're going to hear from another speaker now, Sarah Wilson Sparrow. She's the Vice President of Workforce Development and Community Education for SUNY Schenectady.
Sure, make me follow that really good song, guys. Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here and so happy to see all of you. Last night, I had the privilege of being at a legislative dinner with my colleague right over there filming, Tiombe Farley, and Nicole and Assemblyman Santa Barbara. And it was interesting that all of us at the table had a child or a family member with a disability or who is differently abled. And it was interesting for us to be virtual strangers. We know each other peripherally somewhat, but then suddenly we started talking about that, and it just opened up the floodgates of what that feels like when the people that we love have their wins. And days like this are all about how we make sure that our folks have a win when they really need one and they deserve one. So I wanted to talk about something that Assemblyman Santa Barbara has provided for us that we're really excited about at SUNY Schenectady. We call it the Count Me In grant. We've had 2 rounds of generous funding from the Assemblyman. And basically what this was set up to do, we saw this in the pandemic. We saw the healthcare disparities, and we saw the disparities for those that are differently abled and how they can function in the world. When things got really tough, it got tougher for those populations in particular. So one thing that we were thinking about, that Angela was thinking about in particular, was how do we level that playing field? How do we make it easier for folks to be successful and provide those wraparound services that can make all of the difference, along with tuition funding? I'm pleased to say that we're in the 2nd year of this funding, and we also partner with Our Ability, John Robinson, who is, I believe, out in Syracuse area, like west, and we've been able to work with him to assist with recruitment. One of the things that was very important for us, SUNY Schenectady is a great school. They have a lot of different things available, but we don't have everything. And so what we really wanted to do was make sure that that funding would go for people who wanted to come to our school, but also for other wonderful schools and training providers in this region. So currently we have about 9 students, one of whom is at Columbia Green, and 7 that are with us, and I believe another is with a BOCES program in the region. They are studying areas such as cybersecurity, business, criminal justice, and culinary, among others. And they have different abilities in the areas of hearing impairment, diabetes type 1, mental health, and physical impairments as well. So we serve the gamut. We've also, through these funds, been able to ally ourselves more closely with Access VR that has a lot of really great supportive fundings as well. And so we've been really trying to braid the different funds that are together. One of the really important things to think about is that navigation of systems is very difficult for anybody on the best of days. And then when you're combining 2 or 3 or 4 different agencies together, can I get a jazz hands how hard that can be? Yeah? Yeah. So as a mom of a son with a disability, as a professional and a proud ARC board member, I understand the importance of opportunity and the navigation that's needed to get to where you need to go, and you need the help when you need it. And you can't wait a long time for that. So what's nice about this funding is that it's available and it's quick, and we get it to students within a week or 2, which a lot of times other agencies takes months. So we are so appreciative of Angelo's support. Thank you so much. Thank you for your advocacy, and thank you for the example that you set. We really appreciate it. Thank you all. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Sarah. She talked so much about opportunity, and it is crucial at all stages of life for those with autism and other special needs. So we appreciate the work that she is doing as well. Self-advocates are a big part of this as well. And there are times when some may struggle a little bit to articulate their needs. We know some of the population may be nonverbal but express themselves in other ways. But some are really out there putting out their situation and what they are going through. And Andrew Paolano is one of those amazing self-advocates. He's a friend of News 10 ABC. He's always talking about how to help people with special needs and what he does each and every day with different social groups as a direct support professional. Without further ado, here's Andrew Paolano doing great things.
Hi everyone, great to be back here today. I've been here like 7 or 8 years before I get started with my speech. I wanted to say that. And I remember I took a brief hiatus last year because I went to Florida with a friend and I couldn't change that trip, but I really wanted to be here last year. The last year I was here was during the pandemic. I remember we were up in like a really small room and it was like really crowded and everything. So it's good to be back in this big room now. So yeah, my name is Andrew Paolano. I am from Queensbury and I am 30 years old. I have autism. Autism is on a spectrum and can either be mild or severe. Over the course of my younger years, when I was a kid and teenager, it was very hard to find friends. I was always lonely, or if I did have a friend, they would not be reliable and they would cancel on me sometimes on short notice. Looking back, some of the hardest years for me was when I was in middle and high school. Throughout these years, I had a hard time starting and maintaining conversations. This made it harder to make friends, and the more I tried, the more anxious I would get. Also, my peers did not accept me in school. My peers would make fun of me. For example, they would call me names and tease me. They would also tease and bully my sister as she was in the same grade as me. Some daily things that were tough to navigate were the lunchroom and the hallways because they were too crowded and noisy. This scene made me very anxious. Many people with autism have a hard time with crowds and noise. Another topic I would like to touch on is jobs. I've had many starter jobs, from working in kitchens and dishwashing to serving food at a nursing home in the area. I have been bullied and made fun of in the workplace before in these starter jobs, and it was no fun at all. People got me to make a fool of myself and took advantage of me. One of the things with autism is that many people will be limited to working these jobs due to not pursuing higher education on account for his or her limitations with autism. We need more education in jobs like these about people who may have autism or related disabilities. We don't want others to have to go through a similar situation such as I did, with being bullied and taken advantage of. We need to either make more autism-friendly jobs in the area, or we need to start having training for all jobs in New York State to inform their employees on not making fun and bullying people with any form of a disability in the workplace. I would like to see a bill passed on this in the legislature and Senate. One of my career goals since I was a child that I've always wanted to be a television meteorologist. With some research, I found out that doing this would involve chemistry, physics, and calculus math. Having autism, I'm a slow learner, and in the end, it would take me years to pursue a job in meteorology. The high level math and sciences stress me out and overwhelm me. However, I would like to give a shout out to a meteorologist that is #1 in our area and in the entire state of New York, Steve Caprizzo. Having autism and having a fascination in meteorology, I think Steve is amazing and someone I look up to in life and call my hero and mentor in life. To this day, I started watching and following Steve Caprizzo in middle and high school. Every day I would watch the news to see Steve. Seeing Steve during the weather and his pet connection would be my relief from all the bullying I had to deal with. To this day, I still watch Steve, and it calms me to watch him and his forecasts and pet connection. I don't know what I would do without Cap. And I'm going to visit Steve today, and I'm hoping to be on the news with Steve. I graduated high school back in 2013, and I graduated SUNY Adirondack in 2017 with my associate's degree. Currently, I work in one local agency that deal with autism and related disabilities. I work for AIM Services as a respite and community health worker. My roles for my jobs consist of completing goals with individuals and doing activities inside or out of their homes and in the community. I would like to continue to work in these jobs and pursue this field. This field, working with people with disabilities, is very rewarding to me. Some examples of why it is rewarding are I can relate to the individuals I help and support, and I know the background they are coming from. Another example is people who are hired to work these jobs have to be very responsible. You cannot go out drinking and getting drunk each weekend. The individuals you work with are vulnerable. I hope to maybe also become a manager of a day hab or a group home, or both someday. I started my group for teenagers and young adults in the area, primarily who are in the Saratoga, Glens Falls, and Queensbury areas. You have to be 11 or any age older to join. You have to have any form of a disability to join. You must have to have your own transportation to and from events, and you must bring your own money for any activities we do. Activities we do include bowling, boat rides, swimming, laser tag, and go-karts, mini golf, going out to eat lunch at dinner, rodeos, hockey games, holiday parties, and much more. We are always welcoming new people into the group, so come check my social group out. Male and female individuals can join both. We are always looking for new members to join in the group right now that come to our events. A lot of us in the social group don't have much money. Many activities we do cost money. I would love to get some funding or some funds going for my social group, so I don't have to pay for everything with my own money as I'm on a budget. Some kids who have autism are shy, and others are very friendly and don't have much sense about stranger danger. For example, I overheard someone saying they walked up to a house on Halloween and right into the stranger's house. That's crazy because you don't know if the house has vicious dogs or what people are living in the house. Another concerning thing is a stranger stopping on the side of the road with the lost cat or dog line saying, "Can you come help me find my cat or dog?" Teenagers and young adults with autism are socially awkward and have a hard time with conversations and building friendships. Holding a job is hard, and housing and finding the right housing situation is hard. Some kids, teenagers, and adults with autism are nonverbal and use devices or sign languages to speak. Emergency situations can be tough for people with autism or any age, whether a kid or teenager or adult, whether it's a fire, accident, family, death, or a general change in life. You have to be friendly and welcoming in these situations. I would love to see police officers have better training to handle people with disabilities and autism. I drive so much, but one of my fears with driving is having a police pull me over at night. I have never been pulled over before, and a nighttime traffic stop would be hugely scary for me. About 4 years ago, I moved into my own apartment in Glens Falls, some new subsidized housing that was built during the pandemic. I like having my own apartment because I have independence, but I also do not like my apartment because I would like a porch or balcony, and my apartments do not have these. I also do not like my current housing right now because the police get called to my apartment almost every day, and it puts me on edge. I have a cool idea I would like Angelo and the Senate and everyone to help me with today. For me, I have envisioned building and construction a campus in Glens Falls or Queensbury or Saratoga area for people with autism and disabilities. On this campus, I envision 20 or 30 two-bedroom condos that have either a porch or balcony and either own a washer or dryer hookup in the residence to promote independence, as well as condos. I envision another big building on this campus for a place for me to run my social groups I do, so I can host parties, and it will be equipped with a kitchen so I can host cooking groups and classes, and a movie theater and a workout room. Lastly, on this campus, I envision a coffee shop run by people with disabilities to create jobs for people with disabilities. What I need is someone to sponsor this idea I have, or a construction company to start building these things. Any takers? 1 in 68 have autism, 1 in 42 boys have autism, and 1 in 189 girls have autism. Autism is a growing disease and is caused by many theories. We really need to do more and have more of an open mind. We are good people, we have autism, we are people whom others can and should learn from. It is important to keep calm and be friendly while encouraging people with autism out in the community on a regular day-to-day basis. One of my pet peeves is people out in the community who walk past individuals or an individual that has a disability and stares at the individual. For example, maybe you are in the mall and you walk past a group of people with developmental disabilities, or maybe you're at the Great Escape or somewhere. We work hard and we are honest people, responsible, honest. We are keen to study and learn, and we wish to be taken seriously. Please follow me on my Facebook pages. Friend request me on my Facebook page, Andrew Polano, or yeah, that'd be awesome if you guys could friend request me to follow my social groups. And I have a bunch of social groups. I have an intro to drumming social group coming up this week, Thursday, April 18th from 6 to 7:15 at the AIM Services office. And it's a $10 admission. You do not need to have services to join this group. The second group I have this Sunday, we're going to June Farms in West End Lake from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Great Escape Lodge and Indoor Water Park, we're doing Saturday, May 4th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for the May 4th group, I have like 60 or 70 people going, so I'm pretty excited about that, to the Great Escape Lodge. And I want to thank everyone. Follow me on my Facebook pages. And thanks, Christina, Nicole, and Angelo. And I love Autism Day every year. Thank you. And please follow me on my pages. And thank you. And visit my table over there, too. Thank you, everyone. That was awesome. I love that. That was awesome.
You did a great job. There's self-advocacy at its finest, right there. It's hard to hear about some of Andrew's struggles, but look at what he has been able to accomplish despite that, and think of what we can do together through Autism Action New York to make life easier for those with autism and other special needs, to help them reach their full potential. That's why we're here. We'd like to hear from another self-advocate now, Andrew Maggio. Andrew?
Well, this is unexpected. Yes, hello. My name is Andrew Maggio, and I too live with the autism spectrum. And let me just say that growing up with it was no easy task. There were obstacles that got in my way. However, with the support I had with me, I was able to get through these obstacles. And let me just say, hearing all these stories today of the people who support autism, it really means a lot. Because in this day and age where we hear talks about like Black Lives Matter, immigration crisis, there's one thing that seems to be left out of this whole diversity talks, and that's autism. You know, here I am, I'm hearing, watching the news, hearing everything around, I'm thinking to myself, so why So you're talking about this. So where are the people on the spectrum? Where are the people? Where is all that? You don't hear much of that in the mainstream news. You just hear what people want to hear. Instead, you should hear people who need to hear, because, like it or not, we exist. We work hard, we play hard, we even vote. That's right. Right. We do vote, especially with an election year like today. And finding an ally in the government is pretty hard too. But now that I see a fellow assemblyman and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, Santa Barbara, I can gladly say that we need more assemblymen like him in our state legislature, because his support to autism really means not just to me, but practically to every person on the spectrum across the state. Another thing I've noticed today is that you've been calling it Autism Acceptance Month, and may I just say thank you, because in the past we've been saying Autism Awareness Month for far too long. We got the awareness already. Now we need to bring in the acceptance. And may I just say that the more you're saying acceptance, the more we feel empowered, the more we feel included in this world. And inclusion is now being challenged to all these people who are now anti-woke. And I'll say this to anybody who is anti-woke. If you do not like people like me speaking my mind, pushing for inclusion, well, there's the door. Just walk on out. That's all I can say. I will say that I've been getting education in the special ed world for a long time. In fact, this year, there is a program in my home downstate area that is the Orange County zone, where there's a program called the Strive program that is celebrating 30 years. Count them, 30 years as as an education for students with the spectrum, both nonverbal and verbal. And that program could not last so long without the funding and help of people who really care about autism. And if not for that program, I wouldn't be where I am today. Of course, there are other programs, but I'm on a bit of a time crunch here. It's really warms my heart to even now hear that there is some type of law to bring in the IEP inclusion in colleges, and that's something I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about the idea of colleges including those with IEP diplomas, because we hear this song and dance from colleges is someone saying, "Oh, I'm all for inclusion. We accept you all in our family." Well, but then when it comes to the IEP diplomas, they say, "Oh, no, sorry, we can't accept you." And the only ways for a student with special needs that can get into a college is they leave the IEP and get into another diploma. And may I just say, hey, that is discrimination right there. I mean, here I am with an IEP diploma, and the only way I could have gotten into a college, which by the way, that college is now dying, and you probably know who I'm talking about, was through a program called the CEP program. Now, of course, I haven't done much with living resources in the past because I've been so focusing on my jobs. But all I can say is that thanks to programs like the CEP program, I was able to feel included with an IEP diploma in college. But someday in the future, whenever this bill will pass, there will be colleges across New York State that will include those with IEP, and to show that people on the spectrum like me will no longer have to live in its shadow. Now this is usually the point in my speech where I go for a Q&A, but no Q&A? anyways, I don't know who else is speaking. Does anyone want to? Okay, thank you for your time. Oh, one more thing before I go. As you know, when living on the spectrum, some of us have a customary to hold our ears when there's a loud noise. I will say this, instead of fearing noise, become the noise. Thank you.
Great job, Andrew Maggio. Education is a key piece of this. He talked about the challenges of having special needs and pursuing higher education. And I know Assemblyman Santa Barbara is actually working on legislation to try to make it easier for people with special needs to achieve that dream. Clearly, this is an area that needs a lot of work, as you hear of the struggles from Andrew there. And that's why we're here today, to talk about all this, to make things happen. We'd like to hear now from Assemblyman Farris to front for Assemblywoman.
Hello, everyone. I am Farris Sufran Forrest. I'm the Assembly member from Brooklyn and representing parts of Clinton Hill, Fort Greene, and Crown Heights. Thank you so much to Assembly Member Santa Barbara for hosting this very important lobby day. I am also a nurse by trade, and I have worked in many different care facilities. And at one point before I became a nurse, I was actually a DCP, well, you got DSP, direct care professional. And I used to work in homes. But one thing that was very clear to me is that the most important part about setting care for people with disabilities, people with autism across the spectrum, and just in general for anybody that comes and is asking for care, it has to be self-directed. It has to be goal-oriented. And this is why I stand for the $15 million in empowering students with disabilities in higher education, is because once they have a diagnosis and they know that they are trying to set the goal of obtaining an associate's, a bachelor's degree, or even a master's degree, that once they have have decided for themselves what they want, then we should be creating a community and having all the funds needed to have a supportive community to make sure that the individual reaches that goal. I will share one story. I had a friend of mine in college, and this person was really struggling in school. And very nice guy, but the thing is that we knew there was something off with that person. That was what we said. There was something off. And worst off was that the person felt like there was something off. And it wasn't until years later that I went and I called the person up. I said, listen, how about we meet up for dinner? I was in the Buffalo area, and I was like, let's meet up for dinner. And the complete transformation in that person was miraculous. And that's because the person received a diagnosis of Asperger's. And what people don't understand who do not live on the spectrum is that when you have a concrete diagnosis, you're no longer off. You're a person living with Asperger's, and you're entitled to everything to help support you through your life when you have Asperger's. That's it. And so the transformation for this person, I wish he had that while he was in school. I wish he had that while he was in school. And the truth is, Black women are often the most undiagnosed when it comes down to autism and being on the spectrum. And so this $15 million, Assembly member, you have my support in that. The community, you have my support in that. I will continue to advocate. I have schools in my district that support people living on the spectrum, IEPs. Got to support that. So thank you so much, Angela. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman. So important that we talk about the next steps in education and higher education. I do want to hear from another self-advocate right now. Darlene McGraw is here.
Hi, my name is Darlene McGraw. I wanted to show you guys all my shirt. My shirt says, keep staring at me and you might cure my autism and then we can work on your social skills. Amazon's got everything. I wanted to say one thing that was made was the Olmsted decision. That means living in the most integrated housing choice that we have. It seems like it was forever ago, but Willowbrook existed. We got rid of that, but still, I feel we do not have the ability to live in the most integrated choice, housing choice, where we can live in the most accessible, in the accessible living community where we can live on our own. A lot of the accessible housing options are for senior citizens. Somebody my age, I am not a senior citizen yet, even though I feel like it at times. So I can't qualify for senior living. And I can't qualify for senior living and I can't live in accessible housing. So that is one thing that's going on that I think we need to work on, and it's lack of affordability. Also, autism training at our local Department of Social Services. It's great that we have it for law enforcement and other emergency personnel, but at many of our local Department of Social Services, where these folks interact with us on a good amount of time, they're not trained very well on interacting with those of us with autism. When they speak to us, whether it's over the phone or in person, I have noticed that they do not know much about how to interact with people with autism. I brought this up yesterday at my local county board of supervisors in Saratoga County. I also wanted to say I just completed Entrepreneur Boot Camp yesterday, I just completed Entrepreneur Boot Camp with my local regional chamber of commerce here in the capital region, and I have graduated. I have completed a business plan and I have my own business, but now trying to get started while still receiving the services I have, whether it be my medical services, Medicaid, trying to get self-direction started, and all my other services I have, has been very difficult trying to figure out all of that. And that's been a very hard part, trying to mangle all these services and trying to mangle all these support services when a lot of people don't know which ones are which. I did want to thank Assemblymember Angelo Santa Barbara, because I don't remember exactly how long ago he did this program, but he did this program at Proctor's, seems like it was a while back, with Comptroller DiNapoli, and he explain what the NY ABLE program was. It stands for Achieve a Better Life Experience. I wanted to personally thank you so much, because you not only taught me, but you were able to help me teach so many other people, including those people that think they're Mr. and Mrs. Know-it-alls in the service agency, and they think they know everything. And when they do their job, they don't know everything. We're not God. And now I'm helping teach them. So I wanted to personally thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Darlene, we really appreciate you talking. Hearing from the self-advocates is critical here. So this is the 12th Annual Autism Action Day. We need more, right? We need to continue the conversation because we're hearing some of the real things that need to be solved, that we need to work on: housing, education. But we thank you so much for being here today. This concludes our program for Autism Action Day. But as you've heard, the work has just begun. The advocacy will only continue and get stronger. We'll make sure that continues. It's critical that the supports are in place to help people with special needs achieve their best quality of life. And as we've mentioned, Autism Action New York is one of those great steps forward for all those with disabilities through what is being accomplished and pushed for on their behalf and what's yet to come. All right, so we'd like you to please check out the resource organizations that are here for you on each side. And the Assemblyman wanted me to let you know that this is a great day to talk with your legislators. They'll be in session soon at noon. You can even go visit session, talk to your legislators, tell them what's on your mind. That's how we advocate. You can help us spread the word about the valuable legislation that's been sponsored through Autism Action New York. Every New Yorker, not just those with special needs, benefits because of what it stands for, a more inclusive society. That's what we're doing here, where we learn to appreciate each other's gifts and unique abilities and success in overcoming challenges. Assemblyman Santa Barbara, thank you for all you do each and every day. It is an honor to be a part of this day with you. We're all done.